last episode, we explored the complicated legacy of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, a man of contradictions. Both reformist and reactionary, cold yet fiercely loyal, cautious yet forceful. He had a vision to reshape the empire, to modernize the military, and perhaps even bring peace to the Balkans. But he also made enemies, in Vienna, in Budapest, and most of all in Belgrade. Now that vision would die with him, on a street in Sarajevo. This is Road to Destruction, the World Wars. Franz Ferdinand's decision to visit Sarajevo in June 1914 came at a precarious time. Bosnia-Herzegovina, formerly annexed by Austria-Hungary in 1908, remained deeply unstable. The province simmered with nationalist anger, Serbian-backed groups stirred unrest, and the empire's intelligence services knew it. The military visit was planned as a show of authority, an attempt to demonstrate imperial strength in a volatile borderland, but the timing could not have been worse. The date chosen, June 28, was no ordinary day. It marked the 525th anniversary of the Battle of Kosovo, a defining moment in Serbian history. In 1389, Serbian forces had fallen to the Ottomans in a brutal clash that became mythologized as the birth of Serbian martyrdom. For many Serbs, this was a sacred day of remembrance, a symbol of suffering and sacrifice against an imperial overlord and eventual rebirth. To schedule an imperial military inspection in Sarajevo on that very day, with Austrian troops marching through the streets, was more than tone-deaf, it was incendiary. To Serb nationalists, it felt like an act of deliberate provocation. In truth, it was likely ignorance, a failure by the imperial court to grasp the depth of nationalist sentiment. But that very ignorance would soon shape Austria's catastrophic handling of Serbia, Russia, and the July crisis. Behind the scenes, conspirators were already at work. The Black Hand, a secret nationalist society tied to elements of the Serbian army, had long plotted violence against the Habsburgs. In early 1914, they learned of Franz Ferdinand's planned visit to Sarajevo. A team of young Bosnian Serbs was assembled for the mission. Most were in their teens or early 20s. They believed they were sacrificing themselves for the Slavic cause. The weapons, pistols, bombs, and cyanide capsules were smuggled in from Serbia with the assistance of military intelligence officers. The men were trained and armed in secret, then sent across the border. Sarajevo's local authorities were either unaware or willfully blind. Security for the visit was poorly coordinated. The route had been published in newspapers. The motorcade would travel along the Apple Quay, a narrow road beside the Miljacka River, before arriving at the town hall. The morning of June 28 began with a failed attempt. As the motorcade passed the first group of conspirators, one threw a bomb at Franz Ferdinand's car. It bounced off the folded-down convertible roof and exploded under the next vehicle, injuring members of the entourage and bystanders. The attacker was caught. The motorcade sped away. Franz Ferdinand, visibly shaken, continued to the town hall. There he delivered a brief and icy speech. "Mr. Mayor, I come here on a visit and I get bombs thrown at me. It is outrageous." Afterwards, the Archduke decided to visit the wounded in hospital, but the route had not been properly communicated to the drivers. As the cars turned off the main road by mistake, they slowed to a crawl, right in front of a small delicatessen. Standing there was Gavrilo Princip, a 19-year-old Bosnian Serb, one of the failed conspirators from earlier that morning. By sheer chance, he found himself in the exact right place at the exact right time. But what was right for him was disaster for the world. A wrong turn, a stalled car, a series of improbable missteps, and suddenly the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne was just meters away from a trained assassin, exposed, unmoving, and unaware. And this time, he wouldn't fail. At 10:45 a.m., Princip stepped forward, raised the pistol. 2 shots rang out, and in that instant, the world changed forever.